All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Zach, and I am the Development and Marketing Director here for Alzheimer's Arkansas. And I am joined today by Amanda Shaw, who is our grants coordinator.
Hello. Hey, everybody.
Well, as you all know, today is Phyllis Watkins Day, and we are celebrating the legacy that Phyllis left to this organization. She was the founder of this organization, and she cared deeply about caregivers across our state. Phyllis, she left a legacy of devotion and service to our organization. In 1994, she became our first paid staff and executive director. It was a team of just herself, and I couldn't imagine doing this all on my own. But she had the passion and that drive, and then she grew this to a staff of 6. She was deemed a state treasurer for all her efforts and services to caregivers across the state. And she led this organization through the separation from the association to an independent organization. And she started many of those programs that you all know today, including our Family Assistance Programs grants, which is what we are here to talk about today. So when you donate, you are helping to fund these grants. In fact, this is the only grant that we have that is fully supported by the generous donations of our donors. And like I said, I am joined here today with Amanda, who's going to talk more about those grants. I'm also going to put the link real quick. If you want to donate, that's going to be in the comments right now. Just put it there. So make a donation. And then, Amanda, let's talk about these grants. So our Family Assistance Program grants, they're $350, and they're statewide. And tell us more about those.
Yeah, so this grant, what I love about this grant is just about anyone in the state of Arkansas can be eligible for this grant. There's not an age requirement. The diagnosis does have to be Alzheimer's, dementia, or any dementia or Alzheimer's diagnosis. And that there's a broad range of those that are eligible. The caregivers can live in any state or anywhere in the state and be of, and the patients can be of any age. And what caregivers really love about this grant, what I love about this, is that we have the autonomy to choose what this grant can be used towards. And I would say a lot of the overwhelming majority of our caregivers use it towards respite care because that's what they are in desperate need of. But each family can choose which way to use the money that's going to best relieve their stress, what's going to work best for their family. And with that, they can use it towards that respite, or they can use it towards their utility bills, towards ring cameras to keep an eye on their loved ones while they're at work or away from the home, grab bars, ramps. We've had specialized or easy to kind of sit on toilets, special phones that their loved ones can use. There's such a broad range of options to use this money towards. It really does so much to relieve that stress and just give that little bit of help to those caregivers and their families, especially after the year and a half that everybody has had.
Yeah, no, it's been such a stressful year for so many people, and again, taking that respite break is so important. And many of our caregivers use our Family Assistance Program grant to hire an outside caregiver to come in to take care of their loved ones so they can run some errands, or so they can go watch their grandchild, play soccer, or whatever that case may be. And it's, sometimes we take those things for granted, right? And caregivers, it's a struggle to find time for those things. And I think that's why, $350 doesn't sound like a lot, but it goes so far in helping these caregivers.
Yeah. So we've had some of the stories that I love to hear is when a caregiver, say, is a caregiver for her husband, and she's able to take that $350 and go travel to see other family out of the state to see a grandchild be born. And she's able to use that $350 for 2 days for a neighbor to come in and sit with her husband so that she can go and see life brought into the world. And things like that so many of us, it just happens every day. And you don't, sometimes you don't realize what a blessing and what a gift being able to see something like that is. And that family time that loved ones can't spend together. And speaking of the past year and a half that everybody has had, this, in addition to all those other ways that families can use our FAP grant, they can use it towards therapy, whether it's a family therapist or, just a caregiver needing some one-on-one therapy. If they decided that, okay, this is the year that we want to get wills in order, we want to get, we want to talk to someone about getting eligible for Medicaid, they can use this money towards legal fees and getting those things in place so that that's one thing off their list that they don't have to worry about. And, it's things like that, that, $350 will go a long way in a retainer for a lawyer. And, that peace of mind that they've got things in order if something happens to them or something happens to their loved one this year. And also like that mental health. Everyone's talking about mental health, and a lot of caregivers, they, one, don't really think about it for themselves, and two, they don't have the money to spend on things like that. And this little bump for them, it means everything to kind of get them in the door to get that help that they need.
Absolutely. And that's, that's where our donors come in, right? Because without our donors, we would not be able to fund, these grants. Because again, this grant is purely funded through the generous donations of our donors. And and that's the thing, you are helping these caregivers. Your money is not going, to out of state. It's staying here in Arkansas, and it's going to help real people here in the state of Arkansas. So, Phyllis founded this grant in 2001. It's hard to believe that this grant is now, I guess, it's 20 years old. So we've had this fund for nearly 20 years now. And it has been helping caregivers all across the state for 20 years. There are 93,000 caregivers across the state, according to the Alzheimer's Association, and they're performing 140 million hours of unpaid care. And that's a lot. And the stress of that is a lot. And we know that about 30% of caregivers will pass away before their loved one who are over the age of 65, just due to the stress of caregiving. And so it's so important that caregivers are able to get that break. And that's what our Family Assistance Program grant helps them do. It helps them get that break. And how many caregivers on average do you think that we normally serve through our Family Assistance Program? I know I'm putting you on the spot here.
Like literally hundreds. And we have more applications come in than we have money to give out. And like our reach goes even far and beyond even like the borders of Arkansas. Some patients have family members that are, they're crossing into other states and across the country that are like working to provide care to their loved ones in Arkansas. And like our reach is far, and it's hundreds that we are able to provide some kind of assistance to every single year. And working from home today, but in my office, I have a huge board that's filled with nothing but thank you letters that I receive from caregivers every single week about how much this money means to them and their families. And it's it's hard to articulate how thankful our caregivers are for this assistance that our donors are able to give us, and that we are able in turn to provide to them. Like it's immeasurable. It's hard to put into words.
No, it is. And, I think, last year during Caregiver Month, we had so many great stories from caregivers about how, they were able to take this money and, see that the birth, like you said earlier, of a grandchild, or, and some of them, it was really just having those resources, right, that we provide, just, when someone first becomes a caregiver and they don't know, where to turn, or what's even available, and they're able to call us, and we're able to point them in the right direction for that. And then, as you said, that this grant will cover things like, legal fees and just anything that you might need. I mean, things that we don't even think about that we have to do, but like setting up power of attorney, all that stuff, but
in the 2 years that I've been managing our grants, there's only been one thing that I've not been able to justify an approval for our FAP money. And so I tell caregivers, we have this long list of options that they can use this money towards. And caregivers think of different things every single year that this money is available. And if I can find any way to justify a legitimate use for it, then I'll go ahead and approve it. And I love that we have that option to do that, and that caregivers can really, that we can cater this grant specifically for what each family may need. And yeah, it's absolutely great. I love it.
And that's so important. So let's take a look here. Right now, y'all, we have raised $1,111 out of our $10,000 goal today for our Family Assistance Program grants in honor and in memory of Phyllis Watkins. Again, Phyllis was so instrumental in setting up this fund. And without her, this wouldn't have existed. And it's so important for the caregivers of our state. So whether you give $5, whether you give $250, every little bit helps. You can give anonymously. Several of our donors have chosen to remain anonymous today, and that's totally fine. But whatever the amount, again, the money is staying here in Arkansas, which is huge. Because you could be helping your next door neighbor. You never know, right? So it's huge. So the link to donate is in the comments. Again, $5, $20, $30. But I will say this much: if you decide to become a monthly donor, which monthly donations are a huge importance to this organization. A monthly donation of just $30 will help fund a family assistance program grant. And so that has the ability to impact and change the life of a caregiver. You don't know until you've had that conversation with those caregivers and just hearing, seeing them cry, and listening to those stories about, just how meaningful it is to be able to do the things that they just weren't able to do before. So your donation today is helping those caregivers. And so again, that link to donate is down there in the comments. Help us get to that $10,000 goal. We're going to be back later today with Gigi, who is our education and outreach manager. And so we're going to learn a lot more about the educational programming here at Alzheimer's Arkansas. But Amanda, is there anything else that you want to add about the impact of these grants?
Like I said, it's hard to put into words what kind of an impact even the smallest donation can make in the lives of our caregivers. So, I talk to caregivers every day and every week, and they are so very thankful for this grant that they're able to receive. And it goes way beyond anything that we could do by ourselves. And it's just every dollar is so appreciated, and is literally changing lives of people up and down your street in your neighborhood. And I could not be more thankful to be able to have this as my job to help people and change their lives. It's a blessing.
Again, that link is in the comments. Even if you can't donate, share it with your family and friends. Sometimes, if you make an ask, people will give. And you are helping caregivers all over the state and impacting lives when you do that. But again, we'll be back at 2:00 with Gigi, and we hope to see y'all then. Have a great afternoon.
Bye.